Agriculture Minister calls on citizens to band together to ensure the nation is food secure. This story and more in the National Report.
Do you know you can lower your electricity bill by changing the way you do laundry? Front-loader washing machines are designed to reduce electricity and water consumption. When upgrading, buy with this in mind. You can also lower your electricity bill by doing full loads of laundry, using the sunlight to dry your clothes, and ironing in bulk. As an individual consumer, I cannot impact global fuel prices. However, I can ease the burden of rising fuel rates by changing the way I do laundry. What can you do?
GreenLec, energizing our Grenada.
Welcome back. With the details to the news for Monday, October 17, 2022, I am Sherry-Ann Noel. Minister for Agriculture, Forestries, Fisheries and Cooperatives, Senator Adrian Thomas, is calling on all citizens to band together to ensure our nation is food secure. Minister Thomas says the country is still staggering from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the war between Russia and the Ukraine, and other international tensions like global warming and the constant rise of food prices, which is adversely affecting food and nutrition security. Records show that the year immediately prior to the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, Grenada's food import bill amounted to $259 million, whilst the country exported just over $79 million. During a message in observance of World Food Day, which was observed on Sunday, the Agriculture Minister says the high import bill is unacceptable, and tackling this matter is high on government's agenda.
There is a great imbalance between our imports and exports. This makes us highly susceptible to the impact of global activities on our food and nutrition security, and have been experiencing firsthand the negative impacts of the rising cost of food and fuel. If only 10% of our imported produce is replaced by local grown foods, there would be an overall saving of at least $26 to $30 million each year. This is one of the reasons our government has selected agriculture as one of the lead sectors to contribute to the sustainable development, prosperity, health, and wellness of our people.
The theme for this year's observance of World Food Day is leaving no one behind, and so Senator Thomas is encouraging every citizen to get into the habit of growing their own food and supporting local growers and producers. He says government is providing the leadership in promoting and developing sustainable agricultural policies, plans and programs that would boost food and nutrition security as well as attract the younger generation to the agriculture industry.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Forestry, Fisheries and Cooperatives has prioritized the national food and nutrition policies for review and implementation in 2023. This policy aims to promote sustainable food availability, food accessibility, food utilization, nutrition adequacy, and stability of food supplies for all through integrated and well-coordinated multi-sectorial initiatives at all levels of the government, and through the active involvement of civil society and the private sector. The ministry is also reviewing the climate-smart agricultural initiatives to ensure the agricultural sector works towards becoming climate resilient.
Meanwhile, World Food Day activities got underway on the sister isle of Carriacou, organized by the Division of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries. Local producers, farmers and agro-processors had their products on display and also sold to persons who attended the event. Senior Agriculture Officer attached to the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit-Martinique Affairs and Local Government, Benson Patrice, spoke about the high cost of foods and challenges Grenada and other countries face to be food secure.
This World Food Day celebration this year comes at a time that is really crucial. A time in which so many things are happening in the world. It comes at a time when the world is threatened with the reality of nuclear war, global conflicts, and rumors of wars. It comes at a time when food prices are skyrocketing, exorbitantly. And if you look over the past 3 or 4 months, and you can check it for yourselves, food prices have risen by over 30% in some places. And we have to grapple with that issue because we have to feed ourselves and we have to buy food. Coupled with that, the food chain and the supply chains that takes food to us, particular foods that are produced in Ukraine and other warring nations, is affected seriously. And so we have serious food shortage.
Patrice says we can turn the tide and ensure families and countries food secure by growing our own food.
We need to look to the earth, look to the soil, produce our own, just as in the days of the revolution. The slogan was, grow what you eat and eat what you grow. We should start changing our approach, changing our mind, changing our taste for imported foods. We can do our own processing here in Carriacou. We have agro-processors. We have young people who started. Let us give them the support that they need to help them to produce the type of foods that we need in Carriacou. The old people know how to do it. They used to do it a long time. We know how to can, we know how to smoke, we know how to roast, we know how to do many things. So this World Food Day brings home the reality to us that we need to go back to the old-time way. We need to get our hands dirty in the soil again.
He outlined government's plans for the next year to improve farming on the sister isles of Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
For next year, God's willing, we want to improve our extension services. We want to make a more efficient tractor or tractor service available to our farmers so they can benefit from good land preparations. We want to train our farmers. We want to bring livestock extension services back to Carriacou again. And I hope, and hopefully, by the end of this year, it's in train already, we should have a livestock team in Carriacou providing service to all our livestock farmers. We also are resuscitating the Limle farm. So the black belly sheep, which went almost extinct, we have actually lost the bloodline. And what we have is reduced to types of livestock. What we want to bring back is real bloodline, real livestock that our farmers can get plants and benefit in a very, very tangible way. So we want to do that also for our farmers in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. We want to look at fisheries in a very serious way. We want to ensure that our fisheries outlets in Windward, Petit Martinique, and of course Hillsborough are equipped with good ice-making machines and freezing capability or chilling capability to ensure that the rising demand for ice through the tuna trade is met and sustained. And of course, we know what the tuna trade is doing for us. So we'd like to congratulate our fishers, congratulate our farmers.
Moving along, drivers employed by the public service who are entrusted to transport cabinet ministers, senior government officials, diplomats and other dignitaries are currently undergoing a 4-day training workshop to boost their skills and techniques. Acting Human Resource Officer within the Department of Public Administration with responsibility for learning and development, Sabrina Lane, says the overall aim is to give drivers an appreciation for the significance of their role, hone their right attitude and exhibit high levels of professionalism in the conduct of their duties. The workshop is being held under the theme Executive Driving, Raising the Bar to Excellence.
The aim is to provide them with the necessary skills to perform their duties efficiently and in a very professional manner. The intent also is to provide them with tactical skills, lessons in protocol and etiquette, customer service, again, professionalism, and health and safety on the job, as well as security.
Lane says this form of training is not the first of its kind within the public service and is of critical importance as new drivers are enrolled into the system.
After every election cycle, there are new drivers who will transport ministers of government. And so the training is usually ongoing or held around those times. But we've also taken the opportunity not only to expose these particular drivers, but also those in the other ministries and departments who may be called upon to transport persons at that level.
The training session, she says, will be done over 4 days, running from 9 a.m. to 12 noon.
The first session is dealing with a general overview of the public service, looking at the driver's roles and responsibilities, aspects of professionalism and protocol. Next week, Monday, we would be at the NADMA conference room where we've also partnered with the Royal Grenada Police Force as well as George F. Huggins, and the Royal Grenada Police Force will be looking at defensive driving. They would also be looking at how to handle accident scenes, also administering first aid. George F. Huggins would look specifically at the various type of vehicles because we know that some of them are very modern and there are additional features that some of the drivers may not be used to or aware of, and so these practical skills will also they would also be exposed to that.
During the other sessions, drivers will be guided on other matters such as maintenance of vehicles and defensive and tactical driving. This is a national report. More news after the break.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do thin stuff. Garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on, people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. Officer in charge of the Eastern Division of the Royal Grenada Police Force, ASP Gillian Thomas, is concerned about the number of reported sexual offences in his jurisdiction and is calling on all to join the police in the fight against this form of abuse. ASP Thomas was speaking during a ceremony at the Grenville Car Park recently, which was attended by parents, students, teachers, community members, and officers of the Special Victims Unit. The ceremony was a preamble to a march around the town of Grenville, which was organized by the Special Victims Unit of the Criminal Investigations Department in collaboration with the Ministry of Social Development. This was in an effort to sensitize the general public on the varying forms of abuse and the need to speak up and speak out on the issue.
Sexual violence is a scourge in our beautiful land. It makes women, girls and boys unsafe in their homes and communities. It places an unfair burden on them who must always protect themselves. Sexual assault is against the law and must be reported even if it involves a family member doing it. It is wrong and should not be accepted. Mothers, fathers, and guardians are living in fear, always planning how to protect their daughters and sons, even by family members and friends. This ever-present threat of sexual violence should be a concern for all. As a police officer and the officer second in charge of the division, we have a responsibility to protect children and the entire population from all forms of abuse, including child sexual abuse. We are here to serve and protect.
Detective Samika Foray, attached to the Special Victims Unit, says since the existence of the unit, it brought light to the scourge of child sexual abuse in Grenada.
Did you know that worldwide statistics reveal that 1 in every 5 girls and 1 out of every 25 boys are victims of sexual violence? Recent statistics reveal that in the year 2021, approximately 327 cases of sexual abuse were reported to the Royal Grenada Police Force, 3 of which were reported by males and 119 were reported by females. The age range affected were ages 2 to 18. It is against this backdrop that the Special Victims Unit is committed to work assiduously to reduce incidents of sexual violence within our Tri-Island state.
Juvenile Administrator at the Ministry of Education, Pearson Stroud, says the focus has to be stopping sexual violence against children and changing the way we think when it comes to the issue of sexual abuse.
We have to create an environment that lends to trust, because boys and girls, unless you are parents, unless the adults in their life make sure that the environment in which you are in is a one where you can trust to talk to them, to tell them what's happening, then we are not going to be able to change. We have to make sure we have to change the way we see especially our children, if we are to stop the abuses that are taking place involving in our children's lives.
Grenada's national female netball team got off to a good start at the World Cup netball qualifiers in Jamaica on Sunday, October 16th, in their first game against St. Lucia. Grenada won the game 53 goals to 45. The second game was against the Cayman Islands Sunday night. The Cayman Islands led the first quarter 14-9. Grenada bounced back in the second quarter, being down by 2 with the score 25-23. In the third quarter, the Spice Girls played a well-organized competitive game, finishing the third quarter with a score of 37-30. They maintained their composure for the final quarter in style, winning the game 50-40. Grenada and Trinidad are out in the lead, winning both games. The national netball team will play the third game today, Monday, October 17th at 7:15 p.m. local time against Antigua and Barbuda. And with that story, we come to the end of the national report from Monday, October 17th, 2022. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Sharianne Noel, thanking you for viewing.